Praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Achak. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying to the Lord's elect. I was watching this video with this marshal. He was coming out of, I think he was like in some congressional hearing, and he stood up in the middle of it, and he was basically saying that we shouldn't have to fight for Israel, and then two police officers try to escort him outside of the room, and then this lady starts crying, and she's like, y'all won't even turn around and see what's going on. And it just made me think they probably got the MOTB in them, you know, because all this commotion, you're a 5-star general, all this shit's going on, you ain't gonna turn your head to see what the fuck's going on behind you. Maybe they like that. Who knows, man? But I found that weird too. That's a good thing she pointed that out. Because, you know, you look at what happened to Kiamani. I was watching also AI Telly. AI Telly is like this, it shows you the different type of strikes that were going on. So this dude was deep underground in a secured area, and they were telling on him. You know, these are people who were working against their own supreme leader within their own government. Esau got mad agents in other people's governments. So that just already goes to show you through. You're through, man. And imagine that. A lot of these people, I wouldn't be surprised if the reason why, because I'm sure they have a vetting system to make sure that they haven't been compromised. They even bypassing the vetting system. So he think he got people near you that, you know, you're cool with, and, you know, I'm just, you know, speaking through the spirit. I wouldn't be surprised if they operated on it, you know? That shit's already out, especially in these governments. They setting people up. They had people outside, inside. It was like the whole country was against them, you know? That just blows my mind. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that, but, you know, Esau got, what do you call, sleeper cells and shit like that. Probably spies in his government too. But I think the only way to really get around that is if you have some type of technology inside of them, you know, or you have something where, you know, they're not, they can get through all of these, you know, if you sit them down and get the lie detector test, if they can get through that, then, you know, that's hard to get through unless you're a complete narcissist, man. A lot of narcs can get through that because they lie to themselves. They believe lies, you know. So like someone like the Duck, he'll be able to get through that because, you know, he got that mindset, you know, like a Pam Bondi or something. She just lies naturally. That's the type of people that can get through a lie detector test. But if you're not like that, I'm sure they got other ways of getting by it with some type of tech. And I wouldn't be surprised if they have the MOTB like those people that was sitting in that court. No way in hell you ain't gonna be turning around if you know, if something's going on behind you, just to at least see what the, you know, hear commotion going on behind you. They were still all firm, looking straight. They kept continuing with the process without, like, there was no delay, you know? And then that's just another, I guess he was some type of veteran. I don't know if he was, I don't know if he was a veteran or a marshal or a Marine. I think that's what he was. He was a Marine. And he was saying, we don't got to go to war with them, but they don't understand biblical prophecy, man. Here it is. They're putting the scriptures in the news now. Hey, this matches up with Ezekiel 38. Like, what? They're making the scriptures are being mainstream. So that's just showing you that the Lord ain't, it might seem foolish. They're already talking. Esau's talking about prophecy. He's saying this is biblical prophecy. He's telling his soldiers, you know, we're going to be going in there and be fulfilling prophecy. You know, fighting with Iran. Then you watch Redacted. The lady was talking about how she's this Jehovah Witness. And she was saying how, you know, she didn't really understand. She think the MOTB is digital currencies. You know, like, these people still don't know, even though the word still keep going out. The Lord don't want them to know what it is. Or if they hear a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American bringing it out, they don't want to, who gives a fuck? But you got to have a mindset, these people are heathen and they're not going to make it anyway, so who gives a fuck about them too? You're not going to keep trying to teach people, and it ain't for them. You know, the Lord's only coming to redeem his elect. Nowhere in the Bible does it say he's going to come and save the whole world, man. Okay? says he loves the world, but you know, if you don't have any understanding, you think that applies to everybody. It doesn't. You got to know these scriptures, man. There's a scripture that says you do err not knowing the scriptures, and that's what a lot of you people do. Okay, you gotta be diligent in this thing, man. You gotta get into the scriptures. You gotta be fully persuaded in your own mind. Some of y'all gotta die for this truth, man. If you too worried about what other people think about you and all, man, fuck all of that shit, man. You gotta be 10 toes down for the Lord, or he ain't gonna defend you, because he looks upon your heart. He knows what type of person you are in and out. He created you. All right, and he predestinated his elect to make it through and endure whatever he puts them through. Not everyone got that type of integrity. And that's what we're starting to see in these last days. But let me start over here in the book of Ezekiel chapter 9. We're just going to keep teaching, man. It is what it is. That's what Isaiah did. He said until everything be destroyed. So shit ain't destroyed, even though people get fucked up. That AI telly, man, that's a good thing. Showing you how they got destroyed, man. These heathen really can't fuck with Esau, and then nobody's coming to their aid. And they're supposedly his son is the next favorited person that's next up. You know, he's probably gonna do some damage. Especially you killed him, some of his family members. I think they said they killed 7 of his family members. That's a lot of people to leave your family, man. And you don't know how dear and near they are to him. But he got to psychoanalyze, hold on, if all these people were telling, I got to watch out. I got to watch out, man. You can't trust anybody. Who are you going to trust now? What you going to do different than your father did? You watch how the government went and looked them up, man. They've been watching them. They watched them every single step since they've been threatening them. And they had eyes on him inside of his bunker. So there ain't no getting away from Esau. All right? His eyes are everywhere. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9, verse 1. He cried also in my ears with a loud voice, saying, cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. Yeah, so draw every man to draw near, even every man with a destroying weapon in his hand, so like a sword. Right? Ezekiel 9, verse 2. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lieth toward the north, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. And one man among them was clothed with linen, with the writer's inkhorn by his side, and they went in and stood beside the brazen altar. So the Lord got men that he's setting up for a sore slaughter. Ezekiel 9, verse 3. And the glory of God, of the God of Israel, was gone up from the cherub, whereupon he was, to the threshold of the house, and he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And then you look at that word mark, it's the mark. And that's the mark of exemption. So go through the midst of Jerusalem and set a mark on the foreheads on those that sigh and cry for the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. So what these people are seeing is seeing Israel at that time doing all wicked abominations. You got to read Ezekiel, the 8th chapter. Okay, when the Lord, he dug a hole in the wall, he was looking through the wall and he was looking inside the temple, watching Israel go off. But that also applies to this day. The Lord is exposing all the different wickedness that's going on in this kingdom, and he's showing his servants, the prophets. Like he tells you in Amos, the 3rd chapter, he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. So he's opening that peephole. We're starting to see how wicked this place truly is. And we're crying out to the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Not a lot of people are doing that because they're fully given to wickedness. Like it tells you in Isaiah, the 5th chapter, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. And that's the type of people that lived in this country. That's why you niggas gonna get blown up to smithereens. And that's why we telling you these thermonuclear missiles are gonna come and destroy you motherfuckers, you wicked people over here in Babylon. And 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. If you don't have this mark of exemption, you're gonna die. Ezekiel 9, verse 5. And to the others he said in my hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite, let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Yeah, go through the city and smite. don't have any pity, man. And that's what he's going to be doing with these robots. That's why they want it fully autonomous. So all your screams are falling on deaf ears. You know, even an evil person, you scream loud enough, he might consider it. But a robot, he don't give a fuck about you. He's going to execute all the commands that he has in his mind. And he's going to put y'all to death. You know, he's going to be tied to the cloud. He's going to know you got to execute him. He's a threat against society. So that's and it tells you in Ezekiel, second Esdras, the 16th chapter, that they shall be like madmen sparing none. So even Esau during that time. Now imagine a society that's in complete chaos. You don't know who is who. You don't know who on your side, who's not. You want to just, why risk it? I just put them to death. You know, it's that easy. Ezekiel chapter 9. In verse number 6, slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. The ancient men are the old men. So if he don't have any pity on old people, little children and women, so you got to make your call on an election short. He has no pity. The Lord's not a respecter of persons. He don't care if you're old or young, he'll put y'all to death. You see these kids getting put to death. You got Amalek doing that. All right? He's bombing infrastructure, then he's killing kids too. All right? He's always been like that. That's what his God requires. You look at Baal. Baal requires children, sacrifice of children, human sacrifices. All right? That's why when Iran burnt that image of Baal, he got mad. You burnt up his false god. So he got mad. Now he want to go to war with you. That's an act of war within itself. When you go into another nation's territory, you're supposed to burn up their images. All right? But if you, like I said, if you ain't got that mark, man, all the wrath of the Lord is gonna fall upon you. Your kids, your whole damn household, if you ain't right with the Lord. That's why it's important that you get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding and fill up your cup. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9. As a matter of fact, let me grab this in 2 Chronicles. Yeah, in 2 Chronicles 36. That's a good chapter. I want to see the precepts. 2 Chronicles 36. And I'll start at 13. And he also rebelled against King Nebuchadnezzar, who had him swear by God, but he stiffened his neck and hardened his heart from turning unto the Lord God of Israel. Moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgressed very much after all the abominations of the heathen, and polluted the house of the Lord, which he had hallowed in Jerusalem. And the Lord God their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. But they mocked the messengers of God and despised his words and misused his prophets, until the wrath of the Lord arose against his people, till there was no remedy. Therefore he brought upon them the king of the Chaldees, who slew their young men with the sword in the house of their sanctuary, and had no compassion on the young man or maiden, old man, or him that stooped for age. He gave them all into his hand. So that's what he's gonna do again. And the modern day king of Babylon is Esau Edom. So he gonna send him over there to come destroy y'all. Your old men, your young, your kids. He's not gonna care, because you made it. You made the house of the Lord. You made it. You're making it an abomination. You're making yourself an abomination. And you're supposed to be Zion. You're supposed to be a representation of the Heavenly Father down here on the earth, and you're not that. So you're going to get put to death. Ezekiel chapter 9, and verse number 7. And he said unto them, defile the house and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth and slew in the city. So the Lord's going to have Esau come and slew in the city. Just like y'all, because Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. Jerusalem, y'all, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, majority of y'all live in the city. So he's going to be attacking your cities. That's the first thing he said. Oh, I'm going to go get these sanctuary cities, because he knows that's where you niggas are at. He don't give a fuck about any other race. You got Chinese people hopping off of boats all along this coast. You got Elamites all over the place. But he's more concerned about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. I thought he hates brown skin. I thought when he sees brown skin, it just pisses him off. He ain't worried about them. Because he understands through the spirit who the hell you are. Now, Esau knows that. You know, the elites, but the regular Edomite, he don't know that. He just hates you from the propaganda that Esau be spewing out. He's a base man. He's still looking at black and white. You ain't even black. He's just stupid. He's just so dumb. Esau, these Edomites are just such stupid people that they fall for that easy, dumb, childish shit. They still believe that shit. Talking this black jokes and all that, okay. But you're so damn dumb, you don't even know you're an Edomite and your kingdom about to be destroyed and you about to go into slavery to the same people you hate. And then we're gonna eradicate you. So you should be mad at your leaders today if you understood prophecy, that you didn't even get a hand in being in power. He kept his foot on you just like he did the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But as long as you felt better than those Israelites, you felt like you were okay. But meanwhile, his whole time, his foot's on your back. And that's why it's gonna be, this is a beautiful thing when we see y'all protesting in the street. Satan casting out Satan, that's a beautiful thing. Because that's prophecy being fulfilled. And eventually y'all gonna start fighting and killing each other. And it's up to the elect. We gotta endure all this bullshit. And the only way we can do it is trusting in the Lord. If your faith get taken away before that time, you're gonna die, man. That's the currency that he operates in, is faith. You can't trust in the Lord to deliver you out of these days. You ain't gonna make it. You're gonna rely on your own mind. Your ways lead to death. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9, verse number 8. When it came to pass while they were slaying them, and I was left, that I fell upon my face and cried and said, Ah, Lord Yahweh, wilt thou destroy all the residue of Israel and thy pouring out of thy fury upon Jerusalem? So it's going to be a terrible time. It tells you in Matthew the 24th chapter that the elect shall scarcely be saved. So you're going to have to see these things for yourself, and that's going to be a test of your faith. You might see people get put you to death, but Psalm 91 should be in your mind the more we get into this future. You know that 1,000 shall fall at thy side, but not at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. So you got to believe that the Lord is going to be protecting you in that time. Because if you don't, you're going to be like these people. They ain't got a shot in the bucket. All right? This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9, and verse number 9. Then said he unto me, the iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceeding great. So that's talking about the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. The iniquity is your sin. That's exceeding great. And you can see that because you're following the ways of the heathen. That's why you ain't got nothing to say. You still occupied in the harlot houses who ain't teaching nothing about prophecy. All right? You still following the so-called white man like he give a fuck about you. He don't give a fuck about you. He's going to put your ass to death. And that's what you get for trusting in him too. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9 and verse 9. And the land is full of blood, and the city full of perverseness, for they say the Lord Yahweh have forsaken the earth, and the Lord seeth not. Yeah, the Lord seeth not. The Lord ain't doing nothing. I might as well go trust in the so-called white man. At least he's giving me, putting stimulus checks in my pocket. You know, he's fighting. I don't want to get bombed like Khamenei. Khamenei don't believe in the Lord. He believes in a rock. He believes in a stone. So did that protect him? He was deep down in the bunker, thought the rock was going to protect him. And the Lord sent the bunker buster right on his forehead, man. And that's what the Lord said he's going to do. Let me grab that precept as a matter of fact. He said he was gonna put his wrath. The Lord said judgment's gonna fall upon the heads of the wicked, KJV. Jeremiah 23 verse 19, behold, a whirlwind of the Lord is gone forth in fury, even a grievous whirlwind. It shall fall grievously upon the head of the wicked. So that ultimately that's Esau. But these other nations are wicked too. All right? So that's what's going to come to pass. If you don't have your trust in the Lord, it don't matter if you got a full-blown military, you got 8 radar systems surrounding you and THAAD systems, and you in the middle of it, you're in the most secure place, and you deep down underground, you feel secure. And he got destroyed in insecurity. Yeah, people right next to him. That's what it be. It's the people that right next to you. You trusting them so much. You give them all this access to you, and that's how the Lord gets your ass destroyed. When you trusted him, he passed your clearance for you. Okay, I'm gonna allow him next to you, and that's how you got taken down. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9 and verse 10. And as for me also, my eyes shall not spare, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense their way upon their head. That's right, I will recompense their way upon their head. That's what happened to Ka'imini. He fell on his head. And that's the same thing. The whirlwind's going into the judgments of the Lord. Okay, that's what's going to fall upon you. Ezekiel 9 and 11, and behold, the man clothed with linen, which had the inkhorn by his side, reported the matter, saying, I have done as thou hast commanded me. That's right. And the Lord's going to do he got spirits created for vengeance, which lay on sore strokes in their time of their, let me grab it. I can't even quote it. Ecclesiasticus chapter 38, the verse number, I'll start at 19. The works of all flesh are before him. Nope, that's 39. That's 39. Ecclesiasticus chapter 38. Ecclesiasticus 38. And is Ecclesiasticus 38, or is it 39? Yeah, it is 39, Salakia. Ecclesiasticus 39, and I'll start at 19. The works of all flesh are before him, and nothing can be hid from his eyes. So the Lord sees everything. He got angels reporting to him. Okay, so everything that you do, everything's being reported. He don't miss a beat. He knows everything that's going on in the world with everybody individually too. He's getting all that information. We got the top technology when it comes to wickedness, just like Esau. Esau can watch his enemies. However he does it, that's because the Lord gave him that information, that knowledge. But the Lord does it on a much higher level. It tells you in the book of Ecclesiastes 23, verse 19, that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. Esau's eyes ain't as bright as that. He think he can hide from the counsel, hide his counsel from the Lord, and he can't. Ecclesiasticus 28, verse 20, 38, verse 20. He seeth from everlasting to everlasting, and there is nothing wonderful before him. Yeah, so he sees from everlasting to everlasting. And that's what he is. He's the Ancient of Days. All right, he's seen how you were even created before the world was even built. Before you ever had a thought in your mind, before you did anything, he already knew what you were going to do and where you're going to be all the way into everlasting. He knows all of that information. It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38, verse 22. His blessing, 21. A man need not to say, what is this? Wherefore is that? For he had made all things for their uses. So the Lord created all things. His blessing covered the dry land as a river and watered it as a flood. As he hath turned the waters into saltness, so shall the heathen inherit his wrath. So shall the heathen inherit his wrath. Ultimately, that's talking about Esau Edom. He inherited destruction. He's a vessel created for dishonor. He was created, the Lord's going to use him as an example of what he hates and despises. He's going to destroy it. And he's going to do it in such a way that's so destructive that you heathen are going to understand the wrath of the Lord. And you're going to know, because can't nobody take him out. If Ka'imini could take him out, he would have. He heard, Esau knew all the reports. He was trying to set people up. Hey, I'll pay you to go over there and kill this person and that. He was trying to do the same thing that happened to him. And what happened? It didn't work. He got put to death. All right, because Esau is stronger than you, damn heathen. He's the top heathen down here on the earth, and the only one that can take him out is the Lord. Okay, now Russia and all that, yeah, they're going to get the bombing and shit, but they're going to team up against the Lord too. All these heathen are. So it don't matter what regime change happens, they're all here to fight against the Lord. To have a military is like, it's a blessing and a curse, because now you trust in your weapons and you don't trust in the Lord. And this place is going to see it the most. They don't believe that. You people got a skewed view of the Lord. You think he doesn't exist. He's not going to physically manifest himself and destroy you. You think he's just going to stay in the spirit and never come back into the physical. But that's the times that we're entering into, that y'all ain't talking about. You're talking about Ezekiel 38. But you ain't talking about Revelation 19. You ain't talking about 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter. You're not getting into the scriptures when he's coming to destroy the wicked from off the face of the earth. That's not coming into your mind. Okay, that's what we're hastening the day to come. Ecclesiasticus, 38 in verse number 23. He have turned the waters into saltness, so shall the heathen inherit his wrath. As his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. Yeah, his ways are plain to the holy. Okay, those are his elect. They see what's going on in the world. They understand why the Lord's doing these things, to fulfill prophecy. But it's stumbling blocks to the wicked. The wicked, they hear prophecy and it just goes in one ear and out the other. That shit don't, it don't really resonate with their spirit because they're wicked. You talk about going to wars and shit, they resonate with carnal things. Oh, look what we did here. Now they're more emboldened in their pride. That's a stumbling block to you. You should be humble so you can learn about the Lord. But that's not what's happening with these heathen. They hearing this propaganda on the news. Ducks telling them, oh, look at 4 or 5 weeks we'll be done. They believe that bullshit. They're not thinking, okay, in 4 to 5 weeks we'll be done. Maybe a little bit longer. No, it's going to escalate to the point where Armageddon, just like he's told you in the newspaper. Literally, Pete Hegseth's even saying that we're going to fulfill prophecy. Who put that in his mouth to say that? The Lord made him say that. Made him put it in the newspaper too for you 2/3. So there's no excuse when your ass get put to death with them. He had it come out of the devil's mouth himself. Yeah, we're going to fulfill prophecy. He basically saying the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans you see on the street corners that been telling you this, I'm agreeing with them. I am fulfilling prophecy. Okay? The Lord put it in his spirit to go to war with Iran. Ezekiel 38 looks like it's going to play out just like that. It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38, verse 25. For the good are good things created from the beginning, so evil things for sinners. Yeah, so for the good are good things created from the beginning, so evil things for the sinners. What it said, sin is the transgression of the law. You transgress the Lord's law. Okay, so evil things are coming to you. Evil goes into bad times. You got a bad time coming to you. But good things are coming to the good, who ultimately are the elect. There ain't nobody good in the eyes of the Lord, unless your righteousness come of him. You don't know if you're the elect or not. We're just vessels that the Lord's using today in this moment in time, but we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow can be a full-blown reprobate. Who knows? That all depends on the Lord. Okay, but we serve him with fear and trembling, hoping that he keeps us occupied in prophecy, keeps our foot firm, keeps us focused on him. Ecclesiasticus chapter 38, verse number 26. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil, and clothing. So those are the things that you need in order to live, which is symbolic of this word. The bread is like the bread of life. It's Yahweh Shah. The iron is just like this word is like a sword. You need this word. The word's like a fire that breaketh the rock in pieces. The word's like a fire. The word is like water. The blood of the grapes is referencing Yahweh Shah. So ultimately, you need the Lord. Okay? Because it tells you in Matthew 4:4, a man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Heavenly Father. So you got to know these words. These words got to be inside of you. And then when things happen in real time, the wisdom of the Lord should be occupying your mind. When you're faced with temptation, when you're faced with the devil, when he's about to put you to death, this is what our forefathers relied on, the word. You look at, I forgot, what was his name in Revelation, the 2nd chapter. He got put in the brazen bull. His faith had to be on high, man. A lot of people ain't going to be able to make it through that. If you had to really show your faith through a brazen bull, it's easier to get your head chopped off But to go through a brazen bull, come on, man. Your faith got to be on high. That's why you got to trust in the Lord. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 38, verse 27. All these things are for good to the godly. So to the sinners, they are turned into evil. That's right. Even the clothing is a Yahweh Shai. You want to be clothed in the blood of the Lamb. All right? You want that perfect garment, which is going into the doctrine. You got to have the doctrine of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. But all these things can be turned against what did it say? Ecclesiastes 38, verse 27. All these things are for good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil. Yeah, fire is good until it's burning you. Okay? Water's good until you're getting drowned in it. Clothing's good when you're wearing it, but when it's wrapped around your neck, that ain't good for you. All right? Same with this word. Same with the Lord. Same with Yahweh Shai. He's good for the good, but he ain't going to be good for the sinner and the ungodly when he returns. He's going to put your ass to death, just like he can use all these other things to put you to death. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 38, verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So these different spirits that the Lord creates, they're here to, they're spirits for judgment. Okay? That whatever spirit puts you to death, you know, you get in a car accident and you die, you know, that's the Lord. The Lord created that spirit to put you to death that way in that time. In their fury, they lay on sore strokes. When it's time to destroy you, they're going to do it. They're not going to transgress the commandments of the Lord. He sends these spirits down here on the earth to fulfill his wrath. Because he's angry with the wicked every day, like it tells you in Psalms the 7th chapter. So how he gets appeased is he puts some of you wicked doers to death. Just like in arson, there was a whole what do you call it? Mass shooting. You blaming it on Allah. This dude had an Allah shirt. He's this. He even look at that shit carnal. Now that was the Lord that made him do that. That street that everyone party on in Austin is wicked as hell. That's like that Mardi Gras shit, man. That's just wicked as shit. They're doing all types of shit over there, man. You might blame it on it's because what happened in Iran and all. Nah, it's because the Lord wanted to be appeased. That's all. He put to death who he wanted to die. And he put his ass to death too. Ecclesiastes chapter 38, verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance. So he was a spirit that was created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force. So he poured out his force when he started shooting at everybody and appeased the wrath of him that made them. So it appeased the wrath of him that made them. Okay, the Lord is the Father of spirits. Let me grab that precept. I think it's in Hebrews. The Lord is the Father of spirits, KJV. Hebrews 12:9. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh, which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? So these spirits weren't in subjection to the Father of spirits and live. He went, even though he tells you, let me grab it. The death of the saints is, let me grab it. The Lord loves the death of his saints, KJV. Psalms 116. Psalms 116 and 15. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. So his saints are his Israelite men that are teaching his word. Okay, that are standing up stiffly for him. Now he'll give them an honorable death. And some of the deaths you hear about in the Bible, as crazy as they sound, that glorify the Lord. We're still reading about those deaths, and it sends us chills that they endured that for the Lord. They had a way to escape. They could have bowed the knee and not took it, but you could have bowed the knee and the Lord still put you through that. So you gotta really trust in the Lord. It tells you in Wisdom of Solomon, the 3rd chapter, these men didn't even feel it. So you got to trust in the Lord. Just like Stephen. Stephen, it says he fell asleep. So in the eyes of everyone else, he looked like he got put to death horribly, but the Lord had a bunch of mercy on him and took him out of it. So that was a peaceful death for him. Stephen probably just woke up in the spirit like, what happened? He probably watched his body get stoned like, is that me? Yeah, that's you, man. You don't care about that flesh and blood, man. You've been purified. Oh, the water. All praises to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. You know? Showing you that he's righteous. It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38. In verse 29, fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Yeah, fire and hail, famine and death, that's created for the wicked, okay? That's what they're going to get. Why? Because they keep transgressing the law. And what do you think comes with that? It tells you in Romans, the 6th chapter, that the wages of sin is death. You thought you were going to get life? Nah, man. You're going to get destroyed. Ecclesiasticus 38, verse 30. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. Punishing the wicked, all right, to destruction. These were all created for them. All right? Even though precious is in the eyes of the Lord is the death of his saints, because they're glorifying him. You know, it tells you in Revelation 20:4 that, you know, some of the martyrs, talking about the martyrs of Yahushua. But their faith ain't gonna be like what you people think, man. They're gonna make it. They're gonna be right on the chariots. That's them getting the victory. A lot of y'all ain't gonna get the victory. A lot of y'all gonna perish and get born through the loins of the elect. And that's talking about you Israelites. But the rest of y'all that are over here, you're just gonna be destroyed. And the ones who do survive, the elites who are, because you ain't gonna survive over here, wherever they're at, they're going into slavery. So you gotta endure all of that. They're gonna make it through this fire because the Lord is preserving them for slavery. But majority of y'all don't have no bunker that you can hide in. And even if you do, you saw what happened to Khamenei. He had a better bunker than you. They said he was worth billions of dollars. He had property all over the place. He had a lot of money, man. Investments. He wasn't no low-level dude. So I'm sure this bunker was fully secured to his standard, and it wasn't enough to deliver him. And he got more money than you rappers and shit like that. Y'all ain't got shit. Y'all are broke. You ain't got shit. You get 100 feet underground, and then you need all types of permits, and you can't just go deep underground like that. You gotta ask Esau. Esau, can I go down there? No. No, you can't. You can buy one of our luxury bunkers over here in Colorado. You can live in the mountain with me. And then when you in there, he gonna kill you and eat you for food. Because that's what you are. He might even lock your ass up when you're down there. Ecclesiasticus chapter 38, verse 31. They shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is, and when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. So these spirits that are created for vengeance, when their time has come to execute judgment, they're not going to transgress his commandment. They're just going to do it to you. All right? And you're going to do it to somebody. When it happens to you, just know the Lord got appeased by your death. That's why we bring out Job 4:7, showing you that when were the righteous cut off? Okay? No one, whoever died being innocent, none of us are innocent. But if I get put to death, it's because I deserve it. Okay? Because I understand that it's all the will of the Lord, and this is the place of judgment. This is why you want to be in a merciful spirit. Everyone gets what they deserve, man. It tells you in Galatians, the 6th chapter, that be not deceived, God is not mocked. So whatsoever a man reap, that shall he also, whatsoever a man sow, that's what he shall also reap. So you might be able to lie in front of people, but how you live outside of being on camera and things like that, that the Lord takes all of that into account. And if he put you to death because of something he deems wicked, that's what you get. It's very simple. Lord's not playing. He don't have no respect of persons. Ecclesiasticus 38 and verse number 32. Therefore, from the beginning I was resolved and thought upon these things, and have left them in writing. All the works of the Lord are good, and he will give every needful thing in due season, so that a man cannot say, this is worse than that. For in the time they shall all be well approved. And therefore praise ye the Lord with the whole heart and mouth, and bless the name of the Lord. And that's why this is what we do. We keep blessing the name of the Lord, man. Because that's the only way you're going to be saved. And you people don't even know the name of the Lord. You listening to IUIC, them niggas don't even know, they don't even know the Bible, man. They know a lot, excuse me, they do know a lot about the Bible, but they ain't following it. You know, they got that the Lord got a reprobate spirit on them, man. I was watching one video, he in there militant as hell. I want to see what had them all standing in lines like they going into an army. Now that might be good for some brothers. You know, ain't nothing really wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that. Some of y'all need to be disciplined like that. People got some backgrounds. Jake's coming from all types of fucked up shit, and you need that type of order. You know? But you got to make sure that the order really is, you don't need to be in the military to get order, man. You don't need somebody like that. You got to have discernment. You get yourself right with the Lord, and that's it. You know, to the best of your ability, you keep his law, statutes, and commandments. Standing in single file line, marching down the street ain't gonna save you, man. But being obedient to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, hey, he's pleased with that. Let me grab this in the book of Exodus, the 3rd chapter. And now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock on the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of God, even into Horeb. Now Jethro kept the flock of Jethro. Jethro is Moses' father-in-law. When you read about that in Exodus 2, after he killed the Egyptian, he ran to a woman, helped to feed the flock, and then you know, he met Jethro's daughter, and then he probably worked some deal out. Hey, I want her. It doesn't go into all of that. That's how men used to do it. You know? Because it tells you in Numbers, the 30th chapter. That's why, you know, that thing to go to the father and ask permission to marry the daughter. The reason that is because of the Bible. Numbers chapter 30. And verse Numbers 30 and 1. I think it's 30, yeah. And Moses spake unto the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Israel, saying, this is the thing which the Lord have commanded. If a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceedeth out of his mouth. So if you make a vow, the Lord's going to hold you to it. That's why he tells you not to make vows. Men do it anyways. I don't know why. The Lord literally tells you not to do it, but people do it. And he's going to hold you to that vow. So whatever vow you made, you better hold, you know, you better hold on to it. Okay. Numbers 30, verse 3. If a woman also vow a vow unto the Lord and bind herself by a bond, being in her father's house in her youth. So you make a vow and you still living in your father's house. And her father hear her vow and her bond wherewith she have bound her soul, and her father shall hold his peace at her, then all her vows shall stand. So if you don't disannul her vow, then the vow shall stand. And every bond wherewith she have bound her soul shall stand. But if her father disallow her in the day that he heareth not any of her vows or of her bonds, soul shall stand, and the Lord shall forgive her because her father disallowed her. So if her father disallowed her vows, the father got power to disallow her vows. So, you know, being in her father's house. So the reason why I'm bringing that out is because even though it doesn't say that he, what do you call it? Went and, you know, had some type of ceremony. Let's go there, as a matter of fact. But that was a common thing, man. You would ask the father, you could marry the daughter. Because he had power over her vow, so why do something and then he could disannul the vow and you want to go straight to the father, is what I'm trying to say here. Let me grab this in the book of Exodus, the 2nd chapter. Let's go there real quick. Exodus chapter 2. And Exodus chapter 2. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. Exodus chapter 2 and I'll start at 15. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses, but Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. So he killed an Egyptian, and Pharaoh heard of it, and he ran away to Midian. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the troughs of water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. And when they came to Reuel their father, he said, how is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock. So that's another precept that shows you that Moses was a so-called black man, because this is before the time of Ptolemy. So this is when the so-called Hamitic nations were running Egypt. So he get compared to an Egyptian because he's dark-skinned. But you watch Esau's movies, it's always some Arab-looking motherfucker, some Edomite, who don't never fulfill prophecy, never puts his hand in his bosom, and then it turned white, and then he put it back, and it turns the same color of his other flesh. He'll never show you that in the movies because he's a damn devil. Exodus chapter 2, and verse 19, and they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock. And he said unto his daughters, and where is he? Why is it that ye have left the man? Call him that he may eat bread. And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah his daughter. So he gave Moses Zipporah his daughter. Okay? Moses was pleased to dwell with the man. All right? So giving your daughter to a man, even though Midian is an Israelite man, but she couldn't do that on her own. She would have had to, the father would have had to given her to a man. Is what I'm trying to say here. Because he has power over the vows. Now some of these other nations, just like Midian, they followed some of these laws. You read Genesis, for example, when Sarah went and Abraham was telling Sarah, you know, that's my cousin or whatever, because he thought that he would get slain and they would take his wife. That's following the law right there, even though it's fucked up, but they understand the heathen was somewhat following the laws too. But then he entered into I think, I forgot what they called him, Abimelech's mind, and he didn't sleep with her. And he was mad at Abraham for saying that. So these heathen understood about adultery too. So they didn't want to do that. So the heathen were a lot more, somewhat more righteous, even, you know, not more righteous, but they follow these things more so than they do now. Exodus chapter 2, and that's the point that I wanted to get. I'll read, it's a little bit more. And she bare him a son in Exodus 2 verse 22 and called his name Gershom, where he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. So that's another, that brings in that term stranger, okay? Moses had a son in Midian named Gershom. And he called him Gershom, meaning a stranger. Okay? So just like us, we're strangers. That's another word of a Gentile. Okay? Someone who was born in a foreign land, but he's still an Israelite, according to Numbers 1 and verse 18. So knowing that, that's why we're the strangers, just like it tells you in Isaiah the 14th chapter. Let's grab that real quick. Isaiah 14. Isaiah chapter 14. In verse number 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. So the strangers shall be joined with them. The strangers are talking about us. We're those strangers. We've been discontinued from our heritage because of this heathen Esau beating our backs in. Now we calling ourselves black. So we've been discontinued from our heritage. And then when we came back to the wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, we repented. Now we understand. Now we understand, man, who we are. And we're cleaving to the house of Israel. Okay? We're not cleaving to being black and African American anymore. Those days are over. Trusting in this devil. I mean, he just put, what's his name to death? Created African American in 1988. But people are so stupid and dumb, they'll still call themselves that. And there's nothing wrong with calling yourself that, but without wisdom, you actually think you're something that you're not. That's the problem. Okay? Exodus chapter 3, verse 2. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush, and looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. So Moses was walking, he sees a bush, it's on fire, but it wasn't burning itself. It was just a fire. You know, that's a miracle within itself. Exodus chapter 3 and verse number 3. And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. That's right. Why would I would be like, I'd be amazed too. You saw something on fire, but it's not burning. That doesn't even make any physical sense. Exodus chapter 3 verse 4. And when the Lord Yahweh saw that he turned aside to see, God called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, here am I. So he called him. And it tells you in the book of Hebrews chapter 13 that the Lord is a consuming fire. Let's grab that real quick. Hebrews 13. And it's Hebrews 12 verse 29. For our God is a consuming fire. So he's a consuming fire. Okay, but he didn't consume this bush because he was talking to Moses. Exodus 3 verse 5, and he said, draw not nigh hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. So he told him to take the shoes off when you're near me, man. This is holy ground. Okay. Exodus 3 verse 6. Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. Yeah, so he's like, oh, snap. Oh, I better not look at this bush. Okay. The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. He's saying it like that specifically to let you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans know I ain't the God of these stupid-ass heathen out here that don't serve me. They're going to serve me later when I whip their ass and put their asses to death and take away their government to send my son and redeem my elect. That's when they're going to serve. Not when everything is good. Not when they're disrespecting his people. I was talking to the damn Ishmaelite a couple days ago. He talked just like the so-called white man. He got the so-called white man's mindset. Talking that buddy shit. Hey, buddy. Buddy? Buddy? That's the demon, man. Ishmael. Talking like a damn heathen. He gonna die too, though. Niggas over here protesting, oh, we want America to win. Okay. The Lord sees that too. Lord sees that. You damn heathen that come over here and wish death on your own people. The Lord, all that's in his calculations when you put your ass to death too. It's the book of Exodus chapter 3 and verse number 7. And the Lord Yahweh said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrow. So my people are the Israelites. All right? That's what he's talking about. He hears their afflictions. Because a lot of y'all ain't going through what Israel's going through. As a whole nation. There's some Israelites that are doing good. Not really. I don't think they're doing good. You look at a Cardi B, these people don't look right, man. Something wrong with them. She looks fucked up. Even her baby's father. You think Stephon Diggs is fucking... Something wrong with that dude, man. Nigga got hit too many times in his head or something. Look at Offset. Some nigga got dreads. He's mad feminine. Nigga be getting his nails done like a bitch. He just looked like he ain't who he was before he came into the game. You know? He be acting like he a diva and shit. That shit's weird. I won't be like that, man. He ain't got no integrity. It's the book of Exodus, chapter 3, and verse number 8. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Now that's talking about Israel, which was called Canaan first, because that's who occupied it first. Ham occupied that land. But because the Lord loved us, that's the choice land. So he gave it unto us, his people. And that's the best land. That's why the heathen want anything that's great, it belongs to us. We make everything great. If America's great, it's because of the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American man. The so-called white man can't make nothing great. He's pathetic. He's nothing. He's a homosexual. He's a pedophile. He's a disgrace. Get that through your damn head. All right? And he's going into slavery. Get it in your head, man. He's going down. All praises to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua for exposing this nigga. It's the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse number 9. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me. And I also seen the oppression therewith the Egyptians oppressed them. Yeah, and we see that today. They're still being oppressed by the modern day Egyptian, the modern day Pharaoh, the so-called white man, Esau. Okay, that's why he's going to be destroyed. All right? He's going to be destroyed. That's what his ass get. It ain't no military can save him. And there ain't no bunker buster gonna help him out. It ain't nothing gonna help against the Lord. His technology is primitive. That's why when he sees a chariot, he don't know what to do. He's shooting missiles at it. The shit don't even do anything, man. It's pathetic. It's like throwing rocks at a wall, man. It's nothing. Wait until you see Leviathan. Exodus chapter 3, verse 10. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. So he started raising up Moses as a prophet. Okay? So he's telling them this in the bush. Listen, I'm going to use you to get my people out of here. I know Moses is like, what the hell am I doing? Exodus chapter 3, and verse number 11. And Moses said unto God, who am I, that I should go into Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt? Yeah, who the hell am I? That I should go into Pharaoh, this the great Pharaoh, and bring the children of Israel out of Egypt. And that's another thing, you know, Jake don't really look at himself as anything. If he's choosing you to do something like that, man, that's power from on high. That's how we know this word too. If the Lord gave you this word, hey man, that's a lot of honor. You gotta cherish that he even gave you his word. Cause look at the rest of the people, man. They ain't getting no word. They trusting in the Harlot house. Those Harlot houses are gonna be destroyed. When Babylon get destroyed, you think the Harlot house is gonna be preserved and you're gonna be okay? No. Because he don't have his wisdom and knowledge over in those places, man. A lot of the pastors over here, they be running into me. I be going to random places all the time. And they still run into me and they won't talk to me. I don't go to them. That's how I know you ain't got no truth. The hell out of here. It's the book of Exodus, chapter 3, and verse number 12. And he says, certainly I will be with thee, and this shall be a token unto thee that I have sent thee. When thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt, ye shall serve God upon this mountain. That's right. This shall be a token unto thee. When you have taken the children of Israel out of Egypt. And that's what he did. But I'm reading this because a lot of people got problems with this scripture right here. Exodus chapter 3, verse 13. And Moses said unto God, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, the God of your fathers have sent me unto you. And they shall say to me, what is his name? And what shall I say unto them? So he's talking to the bush, asking the Lord, when I go into the children of Israel, what should I say his name is? Okay? What should we call you? And he's going to the children of Israel, not the whole world. The children of Israel, which were in Egypt at that time. All right? And we're in Egypt again. And the name of the Lord is just as important as it's ever been, even back then. Which was part of the deliverance of your, that was your salvation then. But now you got to believe on his son. It's not just knowing the name of the Most High. You got to know his son's name too. IUIC claims to know the name of the Most High, but they don't know the son's name for some reason. So that's not enough. Okay, this is not ancient Egypt, man. This is modern day Egypt. The Lord came and was a sacrifice. A lot of things transpired and you needed a sacrifice. Now the Lord is giving you one and you're denying his son. So he's going to deny you. Exodus chapter 3, verse number 13. And Moses said unto God, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, the God of your fathers have sent me unto you. Yeah, the God of your fathers. Who's your fathers? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And they shall say to me, what is his name? What shall I say unto them? And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am have sent me unto you. That's right. So now you say, I am that I am. So when you look into I am that I am, when you look at I am, what is it? Let's grab it real quick. I forgot how they pronounce it. First of all, people think that's his name, and you're a fool if you think that's his name, because that's the only place where it's written. That's number one. But when you look it up, let's look it up. The point of the matter is, he's talking in first person. That's what he's referring to himself. I am that I am. But when you look into it, I am that I am. Exodus 3, verse 14. It's Haya Ashar Haya. But when you look at I am, it says to be, become, come to pass, exist, happen, fall out. Pretty much means to exist. And what he's basically saying in Exodus 3, verse 14, I am that I am, is he's showing you authority. He's showing you that I'm the one that does everything. Okay? Whatever you can think of, I do all of that. He does everything. Okay? How do you embody that into explaining about your authority? You say, I am that I am. Okay? I'm everything, man. Okay? Who should I say he is? I'm everything, man. I'm the God of your fathers. I created the world. Let me grab this in Isaiah 45. does it all. Isaiah 45 verse 7, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Why they don't say, I am that I am, do all these things? Okay? And that's why you got to keep reading, because he tells you his name after the fact. But, just going into that, he's speaking in first person to Moses, explaining to Moses who I am that I am. All right? And he said, I am sent you. And then when you look at that word, I am, it means to exist. All right, to be, become, you look in the root word. To be, become, exist, happen. Yeah. Exodus chapter 3. In verse number
It's the Israelite. Yeah. That's enough, kid. Yeah, shalom. I saw you with your garb, I knew exactly what you were about. 12 tribes, all of that,
Yeah, that's the spirit.
So, Lion of Judah, all of that. So, give thanks, keep doing what you're doing. I know you're live, I don't want to disrupt you too much, but I just wanted to give you the words of encouragement, yeah?
Thank you,
shalom, peace. Yeah.
That's the spirit, man. See? Brothers know they're Israel, man. That's the spirit. Exodus chapter 3 and verse number 14. And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said that thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am have sent me unto you. Let me grab this precept in my Bible real quick, see what it says. So that's not really his name. It's just, it's he speaking in first person to Moses. He's referring to himself as that. But then he tells us, let me read this, Exodus 6 and 3. And I appeared unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob by the name of God Almighty, but by my name, it says Jehovah, was I not known to them. And we know the letter J was created in 1524. But let's go into that word Jehovah in Exodus 6 and 3. It's going to say Yahweh. Exodus 3, verse 6. Exodus 3, verse 6. Or, excuse me, Exodus 6, verse 3. Looking at that word Jehovah. It's Yahweh, so it's Yahweh. So, it already goes to show you that's not his name. And it says the existing one. And it gives you the root word going back to Haya. All right, to exist. Exodus 3, verse 15. And God said, moreover, unto Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, the Lord Yahweh, God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, have sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. So he didn't say, I am that I am. Okay? First he was talking about himself. Let's look that up in chat. I want to see how it explains it. But if you calling him that, the reason why I'm bringing that up, because if you calling the Lord I am that I am, you going off. Why do white people turn red? Because they don't got any melanin in it. You're actually seeing the blood that's in their veins. That's the only way to explain it. Exodus 3, verse 14. But there's no such thing as white people. They're actually red. They're really red. They're not. There's no such thing as white people. No such thing as black people. There's some dark motherfuckers out there. Don't get me wrong. But Esau, dogs think like that. Okay, a dog would look at a dog. That's what dogs are colorblind. That's why Esau is a dog. He's a heathen. He's really stupid, and he be dressing up like an animal too. He's a furry. Nigga, really, the Lord's showing you he's really a beast. He don't have no wisdom and knowledge, man. He's a fool. Let me grab this. In ChatGPT, I'm curious what it says. It says, I am or I will be, from the root haya, meaning to be, to exist, to become. Literal sense, I will be what I will be, the self-existing one, the eternal, who does not depend on anyone. This shows the Lord is self-existent, eternal, unchanging, not created. Why this name to Moses? Israel is in Egypt. Moses asked in verse 13, what is his name? Because the name represents authority and power. The Most High reveals himself as the one who simply is, the one who will be with Israel. Connection to the divine name Yahweh. In the next verse, the name Yahweh is given. Yahweh is related to the same root haya, to be, meaning he is, he causes to be. This is the covenant name given to Israel. Okay, let's see what it says. This is spiritual point. The Lord wasn't giving Moses a casual label. He was declaring he is not like the Egyptian idols. He is not dependent on man. He is the eternal power that brings prophecy to pass. What he says he will be. I mean, I don't really agree with that, but he's basically speaking in first person, okay? He's saying I am that I am. That's like you talking to somebody. All right, Shalom, kid. You know, imagine you go to if Moses went back and said, I am that I am sent me. He didn't say that, man. They're gonna be like, you sent yourself? Nah, I am that I am. Sound like you're talking about yourself, man. No, the Lord Yahweh. Okay? He sent me. All right? That's talking about the Most High. So he's the one that sent Moses. His name is Yahweh. All right? Hopefully I explained that good. Exodus 3 verse 15, and God said moreover unto Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel. So why would he even put that? Why didn't he just stop at Exodus 3 verse 14? There's no need to say, even read Exodus 3 verse 15 if that was his name. Let's look at this word moreover. So he's speaking in first person. Now he's saying moreover, giving you his name. Okay? If you give somebody your name, now it's third person. Okay, my name is this. But if you speak in first person, I am that I am, that's not giving somebody your name. That's you talking about yourself. Let me grab this in Exodus 3, verse 15. And moreover, let me look at this word, moreover, in Exodus 3, verse 15. You got to look these words up. You listen to Esau, his stupid ass will tell you some bullshit. Moreover, a going round, continuance. Still yet, again, besides, still yet. Okay? Again, more, good while, longer, else, since, yet, still. So, continue, like it's a continuance of what he was already saying. Exodus 3 verse 15, it says, and God said moreover unto Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, the Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, have sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. So his name's Yahweh. Not Haya, Asher, or Haya. Okay. I'm surprised that Nate, but no one even says anything about that. You sitting in a classroom setting, you should be able to ask a legitimate question. Why would he even explain? And Nate wasn't saying I am that I am was his father. He said his name is Yahweh. But I'm just bringing that out that some people actually think his name is I am that I am. And it just blows my mind. Like, did you just stop reading? Maybe your page got ripped out of your book. Like, these people are stupid. Somebody was going out actually teaching that. Just bugged out. So if somebody's teaching that, just know he's a bug out. If someone's teaching Jehovah, he's even just as bugged out as someone teaching Haya, Asher, Haya. Okay? We're not supposed to be thinking like a damn fool like that, man. But when you look at that word I am is another thing. It means It means to exist. Let me grab this in Book of John, chapter 8. And 58. I'll start at 56. Actually, let me start at 55. Because our Lord Yahweh Shai said it too. And this is what I think he was reading John 8, and then this was maybe last week or something, but you know, I just wanted to bring it out. John 8, verse 55. Yet ye have not known him, but I know him. And if I should say I know him not, I shall be a liar like unto you. But I know him and keep his saying. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad. Then said the Jews unto him, Thou art not yet 50 years old, and hast thou seen Abraham? Yahushua said unto them, Verily, verily, which is truly, truly, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am. So what he was saying there, let me finish it. John 8, verse 59, Then took they of stones to cast at him, but Yahushua hid himself and went out of the temple, going through the midst of them, and so passed by. So they wanted to stone him to death. Okay, because he was basically saying he was the Heavenly Father. Okay, going back to Exodus 3, verse 14. All right, but he was here before Abraham. It tells you in the book of Colossians, you know, if you could receive it, first of all, he was Melchizedek, that's number one. And number two, he was the first spirit created. Let me grab this in the book of Colossians. I think it's chapter 2. So it's not like he was lying. He did exist before Abraham. He existed before anything that was created. He was literally the first thing that was ever created by the Heavenly Father. All right? Colossians chapter 2. Colossians chapter 1 and I'll start at 12. Giving thanks unto the Father, which have made us meet to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints in light, who have delivered us from the power of darkness and have translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins, who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creature. For by him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. And he is before all things, and by him all things consist. So that's talking about Yahushua. He is before all things, and by him all things consist. So everything that was created was through Yahushua. But he was created by the Lord, Yahweh. Yahweh gave him the authority to create everything that you see. And that's a stumbling block for some, because they think he's equal to the Father, and he's not. And that's why you gotta eat the whole roll, man. You can't just be listening to these stupid. This ain't the time to be listening to everybody. You gotta be going into the scriptures yourself and making sure these things are true. You know? It's important we know that name, man. What time is it? I gotta go. Let me grab this in Proverbs. You know, especially everything that's going on in the world, man. So he's speaking in first person, and then Moses went and told the people his name is Yahweh. And that's who the Lord was referred to all throughout the scriptures. So to even say that, it's just, you're out of your damn mind. They act like this is a new revelation. It tells you in the book of Job, let me grab that too. 12 verse 16, that the deceived and the deceiver are his. So it's really up to the Lord. If he don't want you to know his name, he'll take it right out of your mouth. He gave these people the name who teach that, and then they went back to teaching some bullcrap. Job 12 verse 16, with him is strength and wisdom, the deceived and the deceiver are his. So if he deceived you, he wanted you to be deceived, probably using him to deceive other people to teach that bullshit. Proverbs chapter 30. Verse number 4. Who have ascended up into heaven or descended? Who have gathered the wind in his fist? Who have bound the waters in a garment? Who have established all the ends of the earth? What is his name and what is his son's name, if thou canst tell? So what is his name and what is his son's name? So they both, you need to know it. If thou canst tell, and y'all can't tell. That's why y'all calling them the name. The small hat be calling them the name. Then you got other people calling him you know, Jesus. Well, you don't believe the report. Okay? You don't want to look up Giorgio Tracino, the father of the letter J, a so-called white man. All right? He's the one who wants to separate you from your power because he's the devil. He's the deceiver. The deceiver means, the devil means a deceiver, and he deceived you into believing in a false name, a Greek name. A letter that just came out. The Romans didn't even use that letter. That's how more reprobate you people are. Look at the Roman alphabet. Let's look it up real quick. Did the Roman alphabet contain the letter J? No! The ancient Roman Latin alphabet did not contain the letter J. The classical Roman alphabet consisted of only 23 letters, using the letter I to represent both the vowel sound I and the consonant sound Y. The letter J was developed much later in the Middle Ages and formally distinguished from I in the 16th, 17th centuries. You gotta look these things up, man. All right? So if the Romans didn't use that, they weren't calling him Jesus back then. Are there any vowels in Hebrew? Ancient Hebrew. Paleo-Hebrew. No! Paleo-Hebrew did not originally have written vowels. It was an abjad, or consonantal script consisting of 22 letters. Vowel sounds were understood and passed down through oral tradition over time. Certain consonants specifically began to represent vowel sounds, a feature known as matrislatones, mothers of reading. Esau fucked up the Hebrew language too. All right, so all that Jehovah, they got mad vowels in there. So that's not the name of the Lord, is what I'm trying to point out here. With these V's and A-E-I-O-U, they didn't have any of that. All right, and the letter J was so that just chops up his whole damn name, man. It's just full of shit. But I'm gonna end it here. Lord's will, this was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakak Wadash, Shalom, Abad.